Well, how are you doing? So today we are going to run through our breakdown of how we essentially run through a social marketplace and buy furniture to flip. Some things that would be covered in this video would be anything from, do we like the piece? Would it resell according to its style in our area? Is the price that we're getting it for good? Do we have some kind of inspiration or some kind of a feeling about it? We'll kind of walk you through the process of how we pretty much get furniture so that we can flip it.
Okay, so just a disclaimer, we are walking you through our process. We do not know what's on here. We don't know what's coming up. We're just going to be transparent with you, and you're going to just see what goes through our mind. So
Exactly.
Let's go.
Yeah. So obviously our location here, we are in the Sarasota Bradenton area, so Southwest Florida, hence the names that you see on all these places. We're not looking for a camper to flip, so let's go ahead and get to some furniture. Here we have a coffee table. It already looks like someone maybe purchased this and it's kind of new. Doesn't really need a flipping done on it, so we're going to go ahead and scroll past that. Here is $20 side table with a mirror top. I don't particularly like working with mirror. I like wood furniture to be able to redo.
So for me, I always just narrow and filter down to furniture. So there's a section in your feed where it tells you like right here, furniture, and you can click see all. You can also over here on this side, you can filter. So for me personally, I have a max budget. I'm on a budget and I'm not going to spend anything more than $50. So $50. And then right here is kind of your zone that you're willing to go. So I'm going to only stay within 10 miles. I can move that down if I don't really have time to go travel all across town, or I can move it up if I'm willing to, spread out a little bit. I don't really ever do anything here because I feel like it narrows it down too much. So I mainly just focus on filtering my price point if I want to, and then my area. My area I am pretty picky about because time is money in my opinion. Okay, so it's we're in the furniture category and it's narrowed it down to within 10 miles and under $50. Now, sometimes we're going to get these sponsored ads that pop up in here, and that can be confusing. So we're going to just kind of ignore those. So this first one, $45 wood dresser, small piece for chalk, refinishing, etc. Okay, so right here, it looks like a cabinet door, but make sure you're paying attention to what it says here, because I could easily have scrolled right past this and not, ever seen what it is. So right here is the description. One of us in this room likes to read the description, and one of us does not like to read the description. I would recommend you read the descriptions because sometimes there's some valuable information in there.
Which for this one is valuable for me because it said little wood filler, and we know who does the wood filling. So right there, I already know I have some work to do on this piece. But
right.
I like the pictures.
If I was looking for a super fast flip, I would automatically be Xing off of this based off of what's right here. That looks like it's going to need a repair job.
Right. You have to remember that anytime that you're doing, if you're getting pieces that are going to end up being, repaired, you have to be in mind, do you have the capability? Do you have the skills? Do you have, the ways of being able to repair it to make it look brand new? Because people are going to bargain you down on the price of your piece. And so you have to ask yourself, is it something you want to take on?
If we have a little bit more time to put into it, if I'm not looking for a quick flip, I don't necessarily want to finish this in a weekend, then absolutely, $45. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see what the rest of it is. So the next thing on this picture, my first scroll through when I'm glancing at this is every piece of hardware on there.
Yep. I see, looks like it has 10.
Yeah.
Very traditional piece.
Looks like there's all the hardware on there. I'm okay with that. If there wasn't hardware on there, then that's kind of a little red flag that I would stop and consider do I want to fill holes? Do I want to try to, replace it with something else, which can be hard to find the exact size. Mm-hmm. So from the front, everything looks fine.
I also want to mention something else here. There's another piece of furniture that's sitting behind here, and I'm seeing some pictures coming up with drawers that are open. I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't somebody who has been flipping furniture, and maybe they just kind of got too much on their hands, and they were trying to get some of their pieces off or out of their garage.
Yes, I agree. One thing that, since we do see these other pieces here and they have it styled so you can see, in the drawers like a furniture painter would do, then one thing I always think that I'm going to personally ask is, does it smell like smoke? That might be a reason why they're like deciding that they're going to move it on. It might be that this looks super shiny up here. It doesn't maybe look like it's going to be necessarily sand. Like you wouldn't maybe want to sand that. Could be a clear coat. But they could be wanting to pass it on because it stinks. And so if I feel like it's a furniture refinisher that's just trying to offload something, I'm extra cautious about it.
Yeah, I agree. Because just from our experience, we call it getting burned, but we've gone to go pick something up, and of course we got there and looked at the piece or smelled it, and yeah, we weren't very happy. For me personally, I do a lot of repairs. I don't really see this being a problem. I can think of about 2 or 3 different ways of how I can get it repaired. The real question I would ask, and in our area personally, I would pass on this because the traditional furniture style doesn't necessarily sell as hot. Mm-hmm. So I know it's gonna sit on me for just a slight bit, and there's a lot of beautiful things that we could do with it. But I would say that if traditional Victorian or French provincial style furniture sells hot in your area, I would probably say for $45 you could possibly get this. But again, I agree with Whitney. I would definitely ask the question before going and looking at it. Was this in a smoke-free home? Just to make sure that, because you don't want to get there and it has that terrible smell and you're like, oh, geez, it's over. Also, I can see here in this groove area, this is solid wood. All those lines that you can see right there are different pieces of wood that are on there. So that's definitely not going to be a veneer. It's definitely not going to be like a particle board as well. So that's kind of a good thing.
So for me, just based off of time and what I'm willing to do with my schedule right now, I would probably pass on this right now, but at a different time, if I wasn't so busy and I had a little bit more time that I would want to put into it, then I would buy it. I would go get it. I would make the repair on the edge, and I think it would look super pretty. Even though it's more traditional build, then I think you could definitely paint it white and put some distressing along the accented lines here, or highlight that with some gilding wax. I think this could be a really, really pretty piece.
It really could. I think even especially if you're getting into this or you've been into this for a little while. One thing I'm going to point out is those drawers. I don't know what the top 2 look like, but those 3 right there look really clean.
Yeah.
Typically for a piece of this age, you're going to have different stains and stuff going on. And so on the other side of flipping it, this is a selling point. So you can already sell those inside of those drawers and how clean they are to the selling point of taking your piece. So that's a flip aspect that's already a plus. But for $45, it depends on your area. If $45 is high, I feel like that's average in our area. If I was going to do it, I would probably go with 30. And
yeah, I was going to say, it's been on here 5 days. It's $60. Originally, they've marked it down to $45. Don't be afraid to offer a little bit less.
Right.
So right now, I would say no, just based off of my time and what my little heart desires to put into something. But overall, this would be a piece I would pick up.
Right.
As long as it didn't smell like smoke.
Right.
But if we keep going, like you said, there's some little nuggets back here in the picture, so they have other pieces.
Yeah.
Now, since they have other pieces, it may very well be something that we go do and get, because we can go there and get multiple pieces in one trip.
Yeah. So if you click on the person's profile to see what else they're selling, if we can, there it is.
So you'll click seller details, and it'll pop up the rest of the things that they have listed.
Yeah, and we usually do this on our phones. It's a little bit different on desktop. I'm sure depending on how you do it, but you can look and see what else they're selling. So that other piece I see on top of this dresser, I don't see that one here, but something here. So he sold a 5-drawer chest for 40. He sold 2 end tables for 10. He sold a 7-drawer dresser for 20. I definitely think you could obviously get this one for 30. He's willing to sell things just to kind of move the space. I think maybe someone who maybe acquired some furniture, not necessarily trying to flip furniture.
Right. So let's move on to a different piece. Let's see. What do we want?
This one that says
Ooh,
20.
Yeah,
tall
this
dresser.
one totally.
Oh yeah.
$20 caught my attention. Tall dresser, absolutely gonna take it. Like, let's Solid look at wood. This. I love that. That could go either way. Okay, that's an armoire. That's not a dresser.
Yeah. Okay. So at first, we were very excited. I mean, I was like $20 all day, baby.
Right.
But now that it's an armoire, the resale value is a little bit different. I'm kind of curious though. Does that top come off? Because the bottom base, if it's a solid top, okay, we can flip the base.
Absolutely.
And then we could stick the top on some feet and have 2 cells instead of 1.
So here in the description, it says comes in 2 parts. Heavy, but move to garage for easy access. So definitely you can separate these, put some feet on this top, and sell this off as like a small dresser. Yeah. And you've paid $20, which is $10 each.
Right.
So you're definitely going to be making money off of 2 different pieces of furniture. Looks like it has all of its hardware. With these, you could replace these little bun feet even and raise it up or put it on a solid base.
Yeah, the piece is transitional. I think it's more it's closer towards the traditional side, but definitely it can be cleaned for sure. I like the knobs. They're in good condition. I like the black parts on them. You could put some painter's tape on those, cut them off, and then paint the wood a different color.
Right, yeah.
You could even mix some wood and some paint stain.
You could leave these here. Like wood inlets, and then you could paint out here. And honestly, you can paint anything. Like, you can paint a solid color. You could paint it white. You could put white in distressing. I think this style like allows you kind of some freedom.
Yeah, and I can tell you right here, the 42, I'm looking at dimensions here as well. 42 wide, 21 deep. This is not a huge armoire.
No.
This is about a standard, what I would consider average side. I'm not going to say it's small, but it's definitely on the smaller side of an armoire.
Right.
Because of that, of its width, you're probably not going to get a huge TV inside of this. A lot of people in their bedrooms do like these because you can put your clothing and stuff in it, but you can also hide your TV.
Right.
You have to kind of question in your area, are people really into their TVs being on the wall, or do they like hiding the TV?
Right. Sorry.
Well, you're good.
On this part, I love that it has a full back panel and this little inlet is not cut out because, well, you said it might be a little small for a TV these days. You can, they have the flexibility. It's like flex space in here. They can put a rod and hang clothes if they need extra storage. This would be great to stack like blankets in. You could put, like the shelves in. They could put shelves in. Right. You kind of, this is, the opportunity here is kind of endless for what they could do with it. And I'm not finding any issues on the inside.
No, it's in really good shape. Whoever is selling this, they're needing space in a garage.
So it looks like it was listed a week ago. They listed it for $50, no bites, and so they're down to $20.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of interested in sending an inquiry here. Do we want to drive that far if it's available?
So from all the pictures, everything looks decent. There's some wear here,
which is typical for the inside right there.
Yep. Now, right here, it looks like if we're talking about separating it out into 2 pieces, it looks like we have this it's not a solid base bottom. So that would be something that we would need to take into account if we're wanting to separate it out. So at this point, I think we can hit message to see, if it's still available. And then my next question to her is the top of the bottom part solid? Yep. When you take that very top part off, is there going to be a big hole there? if there is a hole there, you can definitely put a top on this piece. It's not a deal breaker for $10. Like, definitely not a deal breaker. If it is a solid top, then yes, definitely. Because even if I trash the top part of this armoire and I only sell the bottom, I've made my money back plus
Yeah.
some.
Oh yeah, you can easily make some cash right here
Right.
off this. And if you're on a budget, you're not having to expend a whole lot into the piece. So now you're able to think about saving the money on, what paints do you have available? What can you use that you already have? And then, of course, you also have some money to go get something because you're only investing $20 into this.
Right.
So, yeah. All right. We'll come back and push send later.
All right. Well, what's next?
All right. Um,
Let's.
Not interested in a whole. I was kind of interested in this. $40. Let's do a little quick check. It has the stamping numbers on the back. Yeah, it's similar to the chests or drawers that we saw earlier.
And from experience, that is not painting on solid wood. That's kind of like a laminate paper.
Yeah. So typically, yeah, we'll go back to it here. Just kind of look a couple times. Yeah, not typical. I mean, it has dovetail drawing, but I mean, they're machine made.
Now, I will say this is for us. We're in modern coastal zone. They like very straight, clean. This would be a we would sit on this a little bit longer. The faceplates were like you can pop those off on the top drawer. Those faceplates, you could take those off to make it a little bit more straight. If you're in another area, this me personally, I would probably get it. I would pop those top protruding faceplates off, and then I would paint this. It's fairly flat, even though you have those curved feet there. You could really do something unique and decorative with this. And
those curved feet are individual wood pieces. You could pop them off and put something straight on there as well.
Right. And that little apron that goes down around the bottom.
Yeah, jigsaw.
Right. You may be able to take that off, but
yeah,
that's a little bit more work than I'm gonna interested in putting in right at this time. If you ask me tomorrow and I want to, express a little bit more artistically instead of just make some faster cash, then I might tell you something different. Yeah. And if it sits long enough, then I might end up inquiring in a week because I feel different.
Yeah. Or sometimes they list it for free.
That's right. And if it's free, I'm getting it. I know it doesn't matter. If it's free, as long as it doesn't have water damage, smoke damage, major issues with it, then I'm taking it.
Yeah. So going through the whole scroll here, obviously we can't click on all of these, and we don't typically click on everything. Here, $50 nightstand to me is too expensive. We have another smaller piece here for $50. It's kind of the same case for me. I'm going to move kind of forward. Here on the all wooden cabinet, I'm not really 100% sure. I don't see a full picture. So yeah, I'm going to pass on that one. The wood cabinets just don't really sell very fast. And then a lot of work goes on the inside. Then, what's this?
Project drawers. No.
Drawers. So it's just the drawers. Yeah. I'm just kind of curious what the drawers come out of, right? And here we go. Here's a dining room table. So it's large, doesn't have a leaf. By all terms here, definitely modern style.
Mm-hmm. This would be, if you're looking for a fast flip, this definitely might be something that you can paint solid white or solid black, and they could put, chrome and orange chairs or something with it. You could definitely do this as a modern fast flip with a solid color.
Yeah, if this style sells well, definitely a solid color. The only thing you'd be looking for is on chairs.
Yeah, your resale value without any chairs is going to be a little bit less than with chairs, but we've sold plenty of tables with no chairs.
Right. And I would also say on the length of this one, you're looking at trying to go for 6 chairs. You could do 4 match and then 2 different ones on the ends, or find 6 matching ones.
Or you can do since it's modern, you could do different chairs.
Yeah. All right. Dark wood credenza with electrical, $1. Is it really $1? We'll have to read the description
Make
here.
an offer.
They got to click.
Okay, so this one is make an offer. It's been on here a week. They wanted 125. To me, it looks like it's in decent condition from this front picture.
I'm kind of thrown off. Like one side has a door, and then the other side has 3 drawers that has electrical plug in.
Yeah,
I'm
so
wondering if this has to do. This may be like an office,
correct.
an office credenza.
However, this is something you could put under your under your TV and have like your cable box or DVD player or whatever right there connected.
It's definitely practical for today. I mean, even to the fact of having phone chargers in that area could be nice.
Or if somebody was using this for a desk, then you may be able to remove this bottom drawer in that shelf and then have you could put your laptop connected in there if they wanted to. I find it practical.
Yeah, and even looking at the construction of the piece, I can see here these are plywood drawers. So they're kind of solid wood. They're plywood though, but you're not looking at staining this. This is definitely going to be a paint project. These are a lot of thin veneers. And by all accounts, the the electrical works. And then, of course, an inlaid veneer there on the top.
So since it's a veneer on top, unless it's in great condition, we would be painting this piece.
Right.
Because I'm not a fan of spending my time with veneer.
There's a lot of time with veneer. Yep.
Not that it can't be done, but
it can be done.
For a fast money flip, I wouldn't want to spend a whole lot of time.
Right on. Okay.
But back to that one piece, that picture is at the end. Mm-hmm. So clearly there's multiple pieces in this. You can separate those.
Right.
So you could have one desk, one credenza, one little end table-ish desk thing, and you could make 3 cells out of this.
Next one. Here's a couple of end tables. Queen bed frame or the end tables?
Let's go with the end tables.
All right. Oh, these are the Broyhill. These are Broyhill end tables. We've done these before.
We have.
Yeah, and I've seen other people do them.
So for us, we actually have done these exact tables. We paid probably the same amount for them, and they were super fast flip. They were super easy to redo. They would $50. If we paid $50 for these, they would be $25 each. I would maybe go see if I could get it a little bit lower, just because I know what they sold for. End tables don't sell for a large amount of money, so the lower you can get them and the faster you can do them, the better off you're going to be profit-wise, because you don't want to put a lot of time into it. Time is money, and you don't want to put a lot of money into it because, money is money, and you have to add those two up to make sure that you're making a decent profit off of it. What we did with these was we painted the bottom a paint color, and then on the top we left them the natural wood. Yeah. So it was pretty fast. We were only painting the bottom, and then we oiled the top and left it natural wood, and they did sell, and we do not have them currently. Mm-hmm. So I would pick them up and I would do them again.
Oh, for sure. I definitely would get these. They are oak. Oaks, when it comes to staining, oak's an easier wood to work with. Mm-hmm. So you have a lot of options for staining and paint options, and you could actually paint the entire piece and pull the drawers out and then just stain the drawer fronts. That's also an option.
Yep. Or it looks like these drawer fronts are in really decent condition.
They're very good condition.
You could just take the drawers out, paint the piece, and put the wood drawers back in as is.
Right.
If,
just kind of restore the original finish that's on there right now.
Right.
For sure. If you wanted to stay traditional, keep the handles. You can paint them whatever color you want to. If you want to kind of go more transitional and modern, I would probably replace the handles, but that is a cost increase because handles and pulls can get expensive.
Right.
You could fill the holes and do a single knob. Knobs are a little bit more cost effective. But honestly, for as clean as they are, I think I would try to do a straight flip. either go with a solid color with some distressing, or do some kind of a maybe wood and paint mix. And I would probably, if I was going to ask for a decrease in price, they were listed a week ago and they haven't dropped the price yet. I would maybe go with a 35 or maybe 30. And if they come back and say 40, I would probably go ahead and take them for 40, $20 each.
Yeah.
You can easily sell them for 3 or 4 times that amount of money.
Right.
And honestly, you can get it done in a couple of days. It's not going to be a long project on you either.
We got ours done and flipped in a day. I mean, within a day. And another thing about those handles, if you don't want to replace them, a way that you can kind of modernize them and bring them up to a little bit more modern feel is by getting a can of spray paint and going dark with them. So instead of having this like shiny, brassy, old traditional type of handle, just cut that brass out with some paint.
Yeah, something dark. You do a real dark brown.
Yeah.
Black looks great. You can do a super dark gray.
Right.
A navy can look good depending on what colors you're choosing on your piece. But yeah, there's a lot of options here. So this is definitely a good one.
Yep. So we would go try to get it lower price, but yes, definitely we would pick these up.
All right. So just compare here. We have 2 end tables for 50, and then we have another end table here for 20. So even if you get these 2 for 40, you can kind of see a comparable price. And anytime you can have 2 matching end tables, it's also a plus. Looking through here, it looks like a table that's been repainted.
Mm-hmm. So $50. Somebody has probably bought this and needs to sell it rather than painting it. Yeah, they probably didn't just paint this to flip it, because $50 is a really low price. So
I mean, the description it says was refinished, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they did it. They could have bought it from a place that they know that it was refinished.
And if it is somebody that has refinished it to sell, I'm going to offer the suggestion of upping the price a little bit.
Yeah, I would definitely double. I mean, obviously, if you're selling out of your house, you have the mindset of, well, I'm just selling out of my house. I can't really do it for that much. But I would probably beg to differ. You could.
Right.
Don't worry like, well, I'm not a business or I don't have a booth. No, you're a furniture refinisher. You're an artist. You're a creator. So by all means, like, get your money worth out of your craft and your work. And from all means of this, it looks in pretty good job.
It looks pretty good, and I definitely think it's worth like more than $50. And I'm gonna just give you a little tidbit of extra information here. When we look at this from going through here, we think, okay, it's maybe they bought it refinished, maybe they did refinish it, but we're not really sure. And so it's kind of we start questioning, well, what kind of condition is it in? It's refinished, but how recent? I mean, have you been using it? So if you did just refinish this and you did just list this and it wasn't moving, then look at your price and think, is somebody looking at this wondering if I refinished it or if I'm reselling a refinished piece? Up it and see what happens, because if you up the price, it's going to change the mindset of the buyer that's looking at it, because they're going to automatically think this is newly refinished for that price.
Yeah. In addition, in the copy of your description, you can write the copy in a way that gives the clue that you are the refinisher, that you are the master hand that is in this. And so, again, if someone right now listening is literally like, oh, I've done this before, I've listed something, up your price. Pay yourself what you're worth, especially if it's, and then of course, think about your copy and how it's being read.
Okay. And then this sentence right here, table has normal wear and tear and is sturdy. That, like, she gives me all kinds of information about its refinish, and I'm kind of thinking, or this person refinished it, and then I see that, and I'm kind of like, maybe she bought it refinished, and now she's reselling it. So just kind of know the perspective that somebody's going to be looking at it from. And we all make mistakes. We all price things low, and it sits. Like, if that's happening, go up it. Go delete it, relist it, and up it, and see if it moves. Maybe there's a question there of, is this refinished newly, or is this reselled refinished?
Right.
All right. So just a side little tidbit.
A lot of good content right there.
Live. Nobody knows what's coming. Let's see.
I feel like this is fun.
Yeah. Okay, look at this. So this one catches my attention. This is a traditional piece. It is very curvy. It has got all kinds of details and accents. That top has like this, like, what is that? Like, it looks like a golf ball.
Is it a full piece of glass?
Yeah, it is. It's a full piece of glass.
But that glass, okay, so that's a round piece of glass that they just put on top of that.
Well, it looks like it's got a hole in the middle.
Yeah, but the glass should be inset inside the center, and I don't know if there's another piece. Okay, so if you were going to inquire on this, the first thing you want to ask is there an additional piece of glasses on the inside?
So the little ring that goes in,
on the inside, right in here, like a donut.
Yeah, and you can kind of see that the original cut has, should be a piece of glass set in there.
Yeah,
there's no description on it. Isn't. And you can see how the piece like wants to curve, and then the glass is hanging off.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that they broke the piece of glass and they replaced it. If you have tools, you can cut a. I don't know.
No, it is overhanging because this is a curve in, and this is
yeah. So the table itself looks great. I really like the table. There's clearly an issue with the glass part. I don't like the overhanging glass. I think that distracts from the whole piece. We could cut a circle out of wood and put in the middle of that, but I think that's kind of causing a conflict with the piece itself. And then obviously the price of getting a piece of glass cut to put in there, I'm going to be paying way more than I'm ever going to make off of
and you're not going to get a smooth enough piece of wood without spending a large amount of money inside, because that veneer is going to be super smooth and you just can't get it rough. And so buying the cheapest plywood that actually set in there, it's just not going to look right. For me, I'm going to pass.
Yeah, you could cover the whole top with another piece of wood. You could, I want this piece. I want to like this piece. I love that bottom. There's a lot that I could do with it, but I just can't. The cost, my budget is telling me no. So with that, I'm going to pass.
All right. So $50 for headboard, footboard. Look pretty clean.
I'm going to pass.
Mm-hmm. A little antique table here for $25. They had it listed for $100.
So it's a really blurry picture. It's got some little claw feet on it, so it's definitely older. That top little circle is probably
a leather.
Probably not, which is super hard to make any repairs on. You can paint over it, but if there's divots and holes and stuff.
Well, and it has an inlay, so you can't remove it either. And kind of push forward with that. You could remove it and then put a completely different top on there, but again, you're getting into power tools and you got to know like where you're at with that.
Right.
But by all means, though, it is a nice table. The claw feet look to be pretty legit. So on there, so definitely an older table, solid wood.
I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not a fan of the little leather area on it.
Getting some different little racks, and we usually pass up on bookshelves and all that kind of stuff. They're not the quickest sells. Here we have a jewelry armoire, though. We love jewelry armoires.
Jewelry armoires.
Is it an armoire or is it one of those like desktop ones? It's smaller. It's not like on the floor.
No, it's not on the floor. It definitely sits on top of a dresser. These are fun to do. People like them and they do sell. The small ones and the large ones, but I am not going to pay $38 for it because while it's small and it's fun to do, and it's definitely an attainable project, it does take you more time than you expect it to because it's small
Yeah.
and there's little pieces to it, you can sell them. You can put the effort and the time and stuff in, and they do sell. But I would not pay $38 for it. If it was like $15, then that might be a little bit more room to work with because I know I'm going to put more time into it.
If it was free, I'd only get it if I was driving by, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I'm like, how about a table?
Right.
But again,
if you're looking for cash, though, right, and you need something that you can do at night in the house while your kids are sleeping, then yeah, this is something you can definitely do.
Well, I mean, if we discuss, say you're living in a condo or an apartment or whatever, you don't have a garage. This could be a good thing,
right?
End tables, little tables. Here's one nice little end table.
Mm-hmm.
Flipping furniture doesn't mean like, well, I'm not going to make enough money unless I'm doing dining room tables and big dressers. No, that's not. It's the smaller pieces are able to be done quicker. Right. The bigger pieces do take long. So there is some element there of, you can do this whether it's small or it's big.
Right.
And I mean, starting out, we did a lot of end tables starting out.
So this nice little end table, has been listed for 2 weeks, and they originally listed it for $40. They're down to $20. It is they don't have the size, the dimensions on it from experience. I'm gonna suggest that you request that because it is probably smaller than you think. I have painted one of these. And while it has some curved legs and it's got some scalloping here on the sides and this little tray that pulls out, it's a traditional type of piece. And I did paint this very whimsical, funky with a lot of different colors on it and kind of bold out there colors, and it did sell. And it didn't sell for like a cheap dollar. It's sold for a decent price.
And let's talk about buyer for a second. If you're looking at this table, the typical buyer for this is going to be someone who either has a smaller bedroom, a smaller living space, and they actually need something smaller. So you want to try to think, what kind of styles, what kind of home trends are you going to kind of see? And honestly, people who live in smaller spaces usually like something a little bit more whimsical and a little bit more bold on a piece because they're not putting a lot of furniture in that place. And so this may be one of the only pieces of furniture of wood. Right. They may have a couch and a chair, a TV console, and then this is their only other piece of wood furniture. And so making it pop, making it bold actually will help you sell it quicker. In addition, if you're also into the wood staining and letting wood live, this has a really, really beautiful wood top. It's a very unique wood top. And so that can also be an element that if you do the wood on top with painted base, you're going to sell it because it's not oak, it's not maple. This is a more unique wood grain pattern. And so at that point, you can set this piece apart from others just by that wood top.
Right. So you can harness the uniqueness of this table, whether it be the size, like you mentioned, the wood on the top, or who the buyer is going to be. So you can go crazy or a little bit more traditional. $20. I still think like for that long, you might be able to even get it for $10.
Yeah,
or less. Yeah. I always feel bad like negotiating, but we are in the business of making money. So,
and let's just talk about that for a quick second. Let's just say we had a piece earlier. Say, hey, I'm going to offer 30. It's okay if they come back and say no, thank you, or they rebargain you back up to 40. Right. If 30 is your dollar amount that you're going for, and you're not going any more over that, that's okay. Walk away from it because you're going to scroll down and find other pieces. Right. And so you don't need to fill your garage with 12 pieces of good deal projects. Get a handful of projects that you can work on and get complete.
Right. Yes. So sometimes we get overwhelmed if our garage is full of stuff. So just because, we want to stay in budget and we want to stay at an attainable pace. So this says a coffee table. It's $30.
So my first thought with this table with that previous end table.
Yes.
They're a matching set. They have the same scalloping.
Right. And they're both a little bit smaller.
Who's the seller? Was it the same? Is that this? It's not the same person. No.
Is it? It may be. No.
It's not the same person.
Doesn't look like
it. If it was the same person, that would be awesome.
Right.
In that instance, I wouldn't inquire to see if it's available. I would message and say, hey, I'm interested in the cute end table and also your oval
coffee table.
racetrack coffee table. um, and let them know that you would like to come pick up both of those pieces. And you're more likely to kind of get like a quicker response.
Right. So I know she says more scratches in photos than in person. We planned on sanding it for the scratches, but now we're moving and we just need it gone. So I would not even plan on having this a stained top.
No,
me personally.
Go back to the top picture and we'll discuss it. Just so you see the streak lines that are going in there. So this is a very thin, probably maple or birchwood veneer, something very finicky that doesn't like stain. And so what they've done is they've put different stain colors over and over on top of it, and that's why you have those lines. So we're definitely going to go with the paint job. There's quite a bit of varnish left as well, so you're going to make sure you need to get down to a good grit of sandpaper as well. You don't have to sand it all the way down. You just want to make sure you have a good fill of grit before you go to prime and paint.
Right. Yeah, I would steer clear of doing anything with this top and stain.
Yeah, definitely paintable.
Right.
It's smooth. I mean, it's super smooth. So you want to talk about a great paint finish on top?
Yeah.
This is a good project for a nice, smooth paint finish.
Right.
Yeah.
Or a blend. You could blend all across this top and it would look great.
Oh, you also glaze. So if you took a little bit of gray grunge glaze and put over the top of like a white or like a real light gray, you could definitely give a cool look aspect as that as well.
You have like this little edging here, so you could always do a blend here and then a solid edging around here, and then solid base. That would look great. Yep. Or you could do a whole solid paint job, and then you could distress around like both edging and then down here around the feet. That would look great. So I would probably pick it up, but I would not pick it up for $30 because it's
part of me too is driving. I don't mind paying the $30 for. I know I can make 3 times as much money on this.
And coffee tables right now in our area are huge. Like it's a thing. As soon as we get them and we paint them, we sell them. So if in that case, since we know they're moving, we can pay the $30 a little bit more for it.
Yeah, this is definitely the coffee table season. Everyone's looking for a coffee table for sure. Right. I just don't know if I want to drive, say, 10 miles to get it. But here's the thing. You kind of keep your mind. Go ahead and inquire on it if you don't want to drive that far. But what you do have in mind is, say you're going to go pick up another piece and it's in the area, then at that point, it's not really a big deal.
Right. Yep.
And also, say you don't have a truck, that thing's fitting in a back seat. It's fitting in the back of an SUV or a minivan as well.
Yeah. It's kind of a quiet furniture day on Marketplace. See anything that's sparking your interest? No. Okay, so this table here could easily go with that one table that had that little. So we kind of have come up with 3 different tables that can easily go together.
So now you're going to have a whole set.
Basically, yeah. Wooden dining set, $5.
Is it a set or is it just one chair? It's a table and 4 chairs. Okay.
Can buy the table or table separate. Paint needs a touch up.
Microwave and bananas
not included.
I'm done. And if the bananas aren't included, I'm
out.
I gotta have something for the kids in the room.
I'm into this.
It's got a great style. The legs on the table are transitional, so it can definitely got the flexibility. So right there, you have a lot of market for buyers. It has the wood seats. Or anytime you see chairs like this right now, let's just date this. March of 2022.
Right.
Anytime you can kind of see these chairs, that's a good buy-in because you can do a 2-tone look on the chairs, and it really gives a good dimension. Looks like he's a Buccaneers fan. I'm not really going for that, but on the microwave. Look at the top. Try and look at the top of the chair.
She said it needs a paint job. It looks like it's peeling paint to me.
Okay.
But that could be a question you would ask.
It looks like an enameled finish, so it shouldn't peel and strip. Yeah.
Yep. So it, like Corey just mentioned, obviously it needs a paint job. That is something to keep in mind. So it'll be a little bit harder to just paint over. If it's not adhered properly on the base coat, you don't want to just paint over it. That's not a fast thing. You would have to kind of take it off. But and back to the seat thing, I think that is a great benefit anytime you find a table and chairs that have wood seats, because they can be stained or they can be painted. Most people prefer the wood. Even if they don't like the wood, if they like cushion seats, then they can add the cushion on top of it or cover over the wood, but they know that the benefit of having the wood option is still there. So right. I find that to be a great plus.
Yep, definitely. So this is a good one. By all means, you got some options.
Even if it was like a little bit further away, I would be willing to go a little bit further for it.
Yeah, and honestly, in this one, if we were doing this like on a regular, not on camera and teaching, definitely I would be inquiring pretty fast. And after I inquired, I would probably send a actual message to them on top of that, asking them where they're located and when they're available to come pick up. Because the minute you can, because you have to, on the other side of this thing, if $5 for this table, there has to be a bunch of college kids like trying to jump on this. And so trying to jump into this to get it quick, putting yourself in there as a good lead, as like a very serious buyer, they're going to probably engage with you fairly fast and then set up a time for you to come get it as well.
Right. Yep. So this is a definite go for me. I know kitchen tables sell for way more than that.
Right.
And I could paint it off, or I could stain and paint depending on time.
Right. And I do want to make a point here. It's the chair. We didn't even realize there was really a table involved. The chair is what kind of fills the picture here. All right. I'm going to click on this one. It says $15, but I just want to bring up a point. I don't want this. So if you look at the back, this is a particle board. You're very limited on what you're going to do. It's got particle boards on the sides. This is something, if everything's in good condition, there's like no repair jobs that need to be made, by all means, you can paint it and you can flip it and you can sell it for a little bit of profit. For us personally, we've gotten to a point where we pretty much deal with mainly just solid furniture. We'll do some veneers, obviously. There's always a case there. But, just know that this is not the highest quality, so you're not going to charge $150 for something of this quality.
No, this is the type of piece that the leg just kind of disintegrates off and snaps in half.
Right. And the thing is, you're going to spend just as much time painting and redoing this as you would a solid piece.
Yeah. So you could paint it white, you could keep it basic, and you could flip it if it's in good condition. Since it is particle board, always make sure that you're checking for the water damage on the top.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or you could pay $15 and just have some new pools. The handles.
Yeah. So we would pass just because we've been there and been burned, but don't get us wrong. We have painted these and flipped them many times.
Yes.
For quick cash. Because you can get them cheaper. You can get them for basically nothing or on the curb a lot of times. And you can paint it and you can sell it, and it serves a purpose, and it repurposes the furniture. It gives it new life.
Oh, by all means, if I was driving down the neighborhood on trash day, the night before trash day, and I saw it, I'd pick it up.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's particle board or not, and I'll analyze it later and decide what I'm going to do. But, you could take it and resell for $20 at that point without doing anything to it. And that's $20 to buy paint, sandpaper.
Yeah.
That's to a new power tool.
Rustic looking bureau. No scratches, nicks. 2 drawers are off the tracks.
How's it rustic if it doesn't have any scratches?
Okay, so it has stickers or transfers on them.
It's a kid's room.
Right. You can try to remove those and then always paint these drawers and leave the base if you needed to.
I feel like I'm going back to my childhood when I used to stand on the bottom drawers of my dresser.
I feel like it looks like it's in fairly good condition, and I definitely think this is a workable situation here with the transfers or stickers, whatever they are. They honestly kind of look like transfers to me. Yeah. But the drawer.
Well, and they said they're off their tracks. What I would ask is, go ahead and engage with them. If you're feeling this one and you kind of have a good feel for it, go ahead. I would ask for pictures on the inside. Like, are they off the tracks? Are the tracks broken? Are the tracks wood to wood? Are they the little metal sliders? What are the tracks? Because some of those things can be fairly easy to repair.
Yeah, right. And then so if you're getting it in kind of broken condition and they don't know how to fix it, you can get it for cheaper. You can put just a slight bit of work into it, which honestly I don't feel like it would take a whole lot of work into this, and then you can flip it for a lot more than that pretty fast.
Yeah, and if that wood tone is selling in your area, if the furniture stores still have that wood tone, honestly, mineral spirits, clean it up some, put it all back together, and then you could try to just flip it as is if needed. Or you could come in with a gel stain, make it a little bit darker.
Yeah.
It obviously is.
Or just paint the drawer fronts.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a smooth wood.
Yeah.
So definitely like the look of it.
Right. I would definitely pick this up, and I would definitely flip that.
Right.
As long as I was able to repair.
We have a little antique piece here. 5-drawer dresser, $50. Looks narrow. Oh, it's just for drawers. I don't like the wicker.
So I like it. Here. It's very straight lined. The frame is very straight. I like when they have the little drawer, the little extra edging,
a little bit of trim molding going around the perimeter. Definitely gives it a transitional.
Yep. We are coastal, and so this wicker is definitely a thing here, and it is coming back. I'm seeing it a lot in even a little bit more modern styles. So, so there's a hole in the back panel. So if you can cut plywood out, or the thin board or something,
yeah, and that thin board's fairly inexpensive. So
right. But that is cost, so you want to consider that with your.
Well, consider it in the negotiation stage.
Yes.
Letting them know, hey, I'm going to replace the back panel. Can we get a better price? Or don't even bring up the back panel. Just literally say 30.
Right.
And then see where you're going. It is listed a week ago.
Right.
It's already sitting in the garage. Anytime I see pictures and it's already sitting in their garage,
they're ready for it to go.
They're ready for it to go, and they are they don't know what to price it. They're just putting a price out there and seeing what they can get. And so if you give them an offer down, they'll usually say yes.
Right. There might be some damage along the edge here.
You can ask for additional pictures.
Right. If this was around 30,
yeah,
I would pick it up. Let's see what else.
There's a rocking chair.
What is this thing?
It has to be a clock or something. What in the world?
Glass display. Heavy solid wood. So this is a unique piece. When I first look at this, what I see is a lighthouse. And I am in coastal Florida, and everybody has coastal decor. And so I am confident that I could harness that lighthouse style, and paint this to be a little bit more reflective of lighthouse. I would get rid of these.
Yes.
Drop down pulls, but I am pretty sure I may even go ahead and take these cabinet doors off.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of curious what the inside. My first thought was, okay, I get wicker baskets in there, right. And quite honestly, you can buy wood that's that wide, and if you just do a straight cut, you could actually make 2 front faceplates, and that'll help bring everything down from a lot of all the curvy hand carved work is all in those 2 drawer fronts. So even if you can get them switched, that can work.
So even if I wasn't going to do a lighthouse theme with this, I'm pretty confident I would ask, but I think this will come right off. I don't think that's attached to the base. And if you look in here, it looks like there maybe is shelves that go with it in there. So I'm going to keep my options open, and I'm going to ask the questions and check it out. I can always separate them out, sell this as a nightstand, put legs on this. I can put drawers in here.
You also have the ability to flip it upside down
Yeah,
as well
correct.
and
This would
sell
be a
it that
great
way.
base.
And the knob that's on it is a flip style knob, and so it can go either way.
Right. This would be a base, and you would just put some feet in it. Yeah, that would look pretty cool too. It would just get wider at the top. If
It would look more contemporary that way.
Yep. That would be. It would definitely take it a little bit more modern. There's curvature here and here, so you're not gonna see any difference. So this is probably a you can harness its uniqueness and you can keep it unique and you can flip it all together as is, or you can get creative and expressive and you can separate them out, provided this comes off, and you can have two different flips for a fairly decent price, and they're unique, so like they're you have a little bit more room to work with.
Yep. All right. So we really hope you guys have gained a lot of knowledge. You kind of got an idea of what goes through our mind. Obviously, with our years of experience, mistakes become experience, which become money and profit eventually. Um, so we've kind of given you guys ideas of style on pieces, which ones we pass, which ones we take, which ones are kind of easier to flip, which ones might take some work. And we've actually found quite a few pieces that could have been split up and kind of made into multiple cells,
right,
as well. And hopefully, we always know that price tends to be like a big thing that people kind of get focused on. And so we really hope that you guys gain a lot of knowledge on the prices of what we kind of see as being too much or right. Every area is going to be different. We've lived in two different places in the country, and we definitely think the prices where we are here are a little bit higher than where we came from. So if you're looking at these and going, wow, those are really expensive, or you maybe look at it and go, wow, I wish I had those prices in my area. So that's just all kind of reflective on where you live.
Right. Yep. And just remember, your time is money. So take that into account and stick to a budget. Sometimes, like, we kind of get really desperate and then we kind of go out of our budget and we end up paying a little bit more. And then, of course, we spend more time than we expect because that's what always happens. And then the flip just didn't turn out to be as profitable as it could be. So keep your budget in mind and try to stay in that. And I'm not saying don't ever go out of your budget. Like, I definitely will venture out of the budget occasionally, but I keep the budget as my guiding point. And then my second point that I always look at is the buyer. So my market, is this going to sell in my market? Is the buyer in my area gonna want this piece? How can I turn this piece into something that my buyer in my coastal modern Florida area would want and give that piece justice?
Right. Yeah, and I agree on that. I mean, even with the piece that we look at right here, I didn't see anything with it, but you had a feeling, and I want to make sure you guys, trust your gut. If you have a feeling about something, remember, if it's in regards to you flipping it to make some money, then go with it. That is fine. Just don't go with your gut of like, well, I really love it. I really like it. Well, that's, are you putting it in your home or is this for a buyer? So things to always think about. And remember, if you ever have that idea of like, well, I don't want to go in the hole, or I mean, I can't afford to go in the hole. I'm going to spend $40 on a piece and then I'm put $20 into it. I mean, I need it to sell. I don't want to go negative. We've never gone negative on a piece. Don't even worry about that. If that's what's stopping you from doing this, move forward. Get a piece. You'll sell it for more than what you bought it for. You will not go in the hole.
Stick to a budget and you will not go in the hole.
And I'm going to tell you why you won't go in the hole. Because other people who are looking on Facebook Marketplace are scrolling through just like this. And at some point, they're going to come through something. I'm hoping I get to it. We talked about it earlier. It'll stand out when we get to it. Here it is. Oh, wait. What is that? And they're going to find your piece. And it's going to stand out. Just look at it. Look how it stands out compared to the rest. It's staged. It's clean. It looks newer. And so that's why I keep thinking this is the price. Look, and granted, we have our price set at 50. If I increased it, it
Right.
would be different.
Yes.
But I should not be seeing this piece right now. So if this is you, your piece should not be here. You need to pay yourself. You are worth more than that. Your skill and your creativity is worth more than that. And so, right here, you're not going to go in the hole. You're going to make money doing this. Have the faith, it will happen.
Yes, I agree.
All right. Well, we appreciate you all joining. Again, this was a lot of fun. We like doing this, and we hope you guys learned a whole lot. We'll see you later.